What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? How you doing? How you doing?
Okay. Hey
Hello,
everyone.
everyone. Hello, everyone. We have a very special guest here. And when I say special, this young lady had a stellar basketball career. She was a four-time state champion in New York City. Went to play at the University of Tennessee, where she won three consecutive national titles. Two-time Naismith Player of the Year. She also went on to score 3,000 points, over 1,200 rebounds at the University of Tennessee, playing under the Larry Pett Summit. Went on to be an Olympic gold medalist, was the first pick by the Washington Mystics, a six-time WNBA All-Star. And when I say remarkable career, this young lady did all things. And in 2018, was inducted into the Women's Hall of Fame. We would like to welcome to our show, Think Positive and Believe, Jamaica Hoslaw.
Uh-oh.
Guys, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. That's what's up. This is kind of cool. We all SEC family, right?
Nah, we close.
No,
No,
We
no,
close.
nah,
no, no. I thought you played in Kentucky. Where'd you play?
I played at Butler University. We was better than Kentucky at the time, so that's probably
Oh,
why.
okay. Oh, yeah. You know what? You did play. I remember.
that's
You
how you.
did. You did. You did
Now, Mick,
play.
tell the truth. Do you remember? Do you remember Shelvin's team? Because when I first met him, he had like his team was so special. I had never heard of it. Do you remember this team?
Oh yeah. They had the coach. What's his name? The coach of Boston Celtics. Was the coach
Yeah,
you
Coach
guys,
Stevens.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Brad
They was
Stevens.
balling and yeah, they hopped on the scene. They had a couple of good players too. It was yourself went pro, and wasn't it a guy before you that was a little older that also went pro?
Uh, yeah, Gordon Hayward. We was the same class. He left after the sophomore year. I left after the junior year. I
Okay.
thought I went back. Mel, Tony, y'all got that?
Say it again. What?
Yes,
I,
we
I, I said I
do.
said Gordon left the first year, and then I left the second year after I finished ahead of
No, no,
Tennessee and
but
UK.
the better player left first. Let's start there.
Mick. Before we get into this, now you know, me and Tony argue all the time. Shell is so much younger than us. We really don't beat up on him. And me and Tony go at it all the
Right.
time. So
Mhm.
we got the pleasure to watch the Tennessee versus Kentucky game together at the restaurant this year. Tony, you want to kind of relive that and talk about it a little bit? The boys, not the girls, ladies.
You need me to
Yeah,
elaborate?
yeah.
You know what? It was one of those games where I walked in and Kentucky was up 15, spanking at you know what, and I was like, you know
Yeah.
what, we're gonna win this game. And I was like, no, dude, we're gonna come back. So at Rupp Arena, they came back and
Mhm.
served us. So I actually had to leave the restaurant a little bit early. I had to get back home. I had some things to take care of, so I bounced on Mel ass.
He
Tennessee
did.
came back. They came back
Oh.
like, hey, but we were gonna get our revenge if there had
Mhm.
been an SEC. So we was waiting on that SEC tournament that was gonna be held in
Mhm.
Nashville, and we were gonna kick that butt. So we wasn't gonna forget about that victory. They win that they beat us in Rupp Arena. So Shamika,
That's
tell us
cool.
Wow.
tell us a little bit about what you've been doing since you've been retired from basketball.
Wow, since I retired from basketball, what I wanted to do actually when I retired, I knew that I didn't want to coach. I wanted to really do some community impact work. I knew it was going to be around wellness, but I had no idea that it would be around mental health. And it's something that really impacted my family. My dad, grew up with a father who was schizophrenic. I honestly, it was so much stigma, when you look at, a family, African American family. My dad goes through these things. We don't talk about it. So later in life, when I had my challenges, only thing I think is like, oh my God, like I'm a star athlete at the time. People are gonna think that I'm crazy, and I felt to get the help because of a stigma. And when you think about sports, you think about me being mentally tough and being strong. And so I like instead of talking about the things, instead of getting the help that I needed, I stuffed the things. And finally, it came to a point where I was like, man, I have to live in my truth because it's either living in my truth or my life. So I opened up about it. And at first, this was probably 2008, 2009. people were like, oh my God, this is, you can't say this. People are going to think you're crazy. It's going to impact your endorsements and the stuff that you do. And I was just like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm tired of stuffing this, And when I spoke about it, it was really a change. Everyone was like, hey, you know what? We got your back. People will open up and share with me the things that they were doing. I just had no idea that it would be such a shift. I look back to then, I was going around and speaking, but it wasn't as as something that people really accepted. As far as like wanting to do corporate events, wanted to do programs for their employees. So, Coach Summit, I sat with her. And she told me, she says, well, anything you want to do, you put your mind to it, you're going to accomplish it. Is this what you want to do? Do you want to work in basketball? And I was like, I could do some scouting, but I don't know. I just want to be free, And once she said, be consistent. That's the key. Whatever your message is, you have to learn to be consistent and continually chop away at it. And that's when, just different doors have opened up to me. And I think because I'm transparent, I'm honest. And open. If people feel, people recognize, I guess I'll say, the young people say real, and someone that comes to them wanting to be open, wanting to help, wanting to guide. And so that's this whole path that I'm leading now.
Hey, well, we all proud of you. You know how much love I got for you. Talk a little bit about the ups and downs of since retirement, because since I retired from basketball in my mind, it's kind of been tough for me. So I don't know what I was laughing about. But so tell me, you know I was a good seventh man on somebody's team. But how has it been for you? Is it bad like it is for everybody else, or is it fun? What is it? How you feel?
Oh my God. So for me, I would say the part that was I enjoyed is sort of just being, you know what I'm saying? Not having to, I would say, be on all the time. The part that I missed was like the camaraderie with the team. That's the hard part. These are your sisters. This is your environment, and you had that structure in your life, since I picked up a basketball 11 years old. So without that being gone, I was missing it, and my therapist at the time just told me, you have to make a daily schedule and you have to work towards that. But it's like a piece of you dies in a sense, because you're just used to being like in that realm. And it wasn't so much about the people and the lights and all that. Some people that some friends that I know, they struggle with that because they love it, and they're like, Meek, man, how did you not get depressed and stuff? I said, yeah, I went through my hard time, but I would say definitely the transition can be hard because a lot of times too, we're used to people, and you guys can probably speak about this. You're used to people just being there, and whatever you need, they're there to do it and to help you, be able to go out there and perform your best. And so, once things start to slow down, you're really sitting with yourself. Do you know yourself? In its totality, who are you, and looking for, just that understanding. So it was great for me in a sense, really being to be able to explore myself. Mel could tell you, I throw in my backpack. I backpack all around the world, pretty much different continents, just me, a Black woman. And so I got to really understand who I was as a person. And then I came back to that, each year you come back to that place where, I feel like I developed, because I felt I don't know, I felt like I couldn't do anything by myself, even though I was so independent, because if it's going out or doing something, I got to call a friend. And I told myself, I was like, listen, I've got to take a trip, y'all. I said, I got to do this. I got to go out the country by myself. My mom thought I was off the wagon or something. My friends are like, what? You're not taking anybody with you? And I went to Singapore, which is very safe. And I went there for maybe a week and a half. And I wasn't going to stay in the hotel. So I had to learn how to socialize, how to meet different people. And I was kind of used to that because I played 10 or 11 seasons abroad. So I just really grew. And then when I really just got settled, it's I knew who I was. I didn't deal with the pressure, because a lot of my friends that are star athletes, men or women, they think oh my God, I have to automatically transition and be the star in my next life. And when it doesn't happen as fast, if things, doors aren't opening as fast, they get a little down and a little depressed. But I think a key too, and I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say, is that good relationship. See, the thing about me, I've always kind of been to myself, and, you know, people, oh, she's a little eccentric or whatever, but I've always had great relationships with people from my university, you know, business people. Coach Summit taught us, and not just Coach Summit, my grandmother, the importance of looking people in the eye, a good handshake, learning how to ask for what you want. You know, we're around auditioning, you know, in front of these sponsors, boosters, you know, people that can really like continue to change our life and help us push forward. And so I felt good about that, but I had to, the thing I had to work on, even though you have those relationships and you're a likable person, you talk to them, I had a problem with like, hey, what do you need? How can I help you? I had a problem of really like asking really if I would get and taking those steps to receiving it. It's very different. It felt weird.
Yeah, I would say I definitely agree. I'm still playing. I'm not retired, but over these past
Mm-hmm.
3 months of being on quarantine, it's like you start realizing you're doing a lot of stuff yourself, being independent. No, a few last week. No, I had some mulch come to the house. Mel helped me give it up the driveway and all that. But I'm outside mulching my yard. It's something like I would never do any other time.
Mm-hmm.
If the season was still going on, I wouldn't take the time to do that and figure out anything about myself. One of the questions I have for you is I have a daughter
Mm-hmm.
who's 4. I take her to the gym with me all the time. Some days she loves basketball and some days she doesn't. Like what kind of drew you to basketball? Was there any other sports that you played growing up?
Basketball is kind of my sport. What happened was when my parents separated, I came to live with my grandmother. I'm from New York City, so you know, New York City at that time, back then, we were like the mecca of basketball, and I'm still say we the mecca. But you know, I grew up in the era with, oh God, let me see, Ron Artest. We lived by each other. Lamar, we went to high school. Some other guy, I mean, Eric Barkley, Speedy Claxton, all #1 picks. We all went to school together. So growing up, like basketball was the thing to do. But for me, when I moved with my grandmother, I went from a middle class area to Astoria housing projects. And my grandmother was like really involved in church, really strict, right? So she would only let me go play at the basketball court because she could watch me from her window. You know, she wasn't about just that hanging out stuff. You had to either go where she could see you or church. So I started playing. I was the only girl, let me tell y'all. I was teased. I was bullied by other girls because, you know, I didn't get it. I just was out there playing sport. And I was cool with the guys because some of them lived in my building when the girls were actually liking them. So, you know, I just stuck with it, man. I used to get hit in the chest or whatever, but I never cried, man. And I earned my stripes. I was like, probably at that time, I was better than the boys. It just changed when I was like about age 14, 15, because everyone just got huge, man. Those guys, I remember like my junior year in high school, Lamar, we at the park. That's his freshman year, Lamar, and we're in DS Park. We used to play in like this little summer league, and his knee is hurting, and he just keeps rubbing his knee, right? And then like during the high school year, I'm like, man, me and Lamar came in like the same height over the summer. Like he comes back to school, this dude grew from like 6'2" to like 6'9". That's why his knees were like hurting the whole summer. So at that moment, you just look and like, man, like I can't do nothing with that. But that's how I got into just playing with the guys, man. I didn't play with girls with girls until like probably like really seriously into high school. You know, I had played at my Lutheran school on the girls team, but I would say really high school. That was the first time I learned from the guys.
Gotcha.
Shamika, can you tell us and tell our viewers? I know my audio is a little choppy right now, but I want to make sure for the viewers. Can you tell us how it was playing for the legendary Pat Summitt?
Wow, playing for Coach Summitt. God, I went to Tennessee. I always tell people, and Tony, they get mad because I'm like, listen, if Coach Summitt, I love University of Tennessee, but if Coach Summitt was at any other school, that's where I would have went. I wanted to play for this woman because, you know, she was about business. It was tough. Then I got clipboards thrown at me. I got kicked out of practice a lot, but she was the type of coach that when you cross those lines, ain't no kikiing and joking around. It's business. And once you're finished, you know what? She'll kick me out. They call me back to in practice. And then once I'm off the court again, hey, you want to come over for dinner? You know, she loved us. It was tough love, but she's just a great motivator. She taught us so much about life, man. I was ready to pack it up.
Oh my God, are you serious?
I don't know.
Don't tell me this happened.
Oh, man.
I don't know if y'all know I went to Tennessee. I've been eating meat. I know. I'm
You
gonna do
should have
better.
told me. I would have worn my orange. You should have told me. It got
Hey, you look like a burnt pumpkin.
I'm trying to get it right. You gotta get it right. Meek always mess with me. She said, Mel, I'll be wearing some. She sometimes say I be having some bootleg Tennessee. She said, where you get that shit from?
Nah, yeah, dude. It be looking like the swap meet gear. I'm like, man, you're in Nike school now, Mel. You got to keep it fresh and fly.
But
yeah.
Hey, what size jersey is that though?
What do you mean? This is my practice jersey when I was on the team. What you talking about?
Hey man, you stole that jersey at practice, man. Hey.
This is my practice jersey, me. They hating on me. I don't know. That's what I gotta do every day. But look, I'm gonna ask. I got
that T stand for hey, hold on. That T stand for tight though. That T on your bucket head stand for tight jersey.
Man, hold on. See, me, this is what I got to deal with.
Tight or tiny? Tight, tiny. What is it, man? Which one is it?
That's all right. I try to do something nice for you people.
Oh
Hey,
my
man,
God.
take your hat off though. Can you take your hat off for us?
Nah, I can't take the hat back off. Hey, it took me a long time to get that wig together, that toupee right. I can't take it back off.
So
Wait, you got a
Me.
toupee now?
Oh, I ain't got no toupee, me. Come on, I just be messing.
Well, you know you got
I
the
ain't dead
curly
on.
curls.
You know I was the man. Me don't. You know I was the man back in the 90s.
Ah!
We be on stage. I tell a story. Let me tell you how me and Meek really met. Since she always don't want to admit this. This is my favorite Shamiqua introduction. So I come out my apartment, right? I had a nice little whip. You know, I worked in college, so I was ghetto famous.
Broke he pushing the major whip on the campus.
I had a Lexus in the early 90s, so I get a note on my car. Say, hey, call me. And I said, who's this? And it was Shamika. I said, I'm not fooling with me. I know she crazy. I said, I know she gonna either tease me about something or aggravate me. So that's how we first started communicating and talking, and we got real close. But she's always the energy that she gives off. I just want to brag on her for a minute because they always talk about giving you roses. She has been the sweetest, most giving. Even when you're in a down mood, she's trying to cheer other people up, gives you good energy. She's always supported anything I asked her to do. She don't like to train no kids. Now I tricked them. I got them trained. She wouldn't train Chase when he was like, man, I ain't doing no training. She never do. We do some camps, but she wasn't doing no one-on-one training.
Nah, you know why, y'all. Listen. They can identify with this. All right. So I'm in Atlanta right now. You know how you have your doctor or somebody, but somebody want to train your kids, the kid, right? And so they were paying a couple $100. They're like, I just need you to come to the house, 1 hour a week or whatever. And so I'm like, all right. Like my friend's like, man, if you don't do this is easy money. Like we could get the money, go hang out or whatever. So I go. I like the kid and everything. The girl just want to take selfies. Like the only thing guess who's my trainer? Like she want to play basketball. They just got money, the super mansion, and I'm just cool with them. I'm like, I can't do this. Like, just tell me you want me to come over and drink tea and sit by the pool. Like, it's different. That's different, right? But I work out kids, but I chose to work out the kids. And like, all kids are equal. Love my kids, but the kids that don't have the opportunity, you know what I'm saying? Like, I do that. When I was living in California, I would drive to a place. Y'all familiar with San Bernardino?
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
California.
familiar with it.
Yeah, so in the U.S., it's the largest county in the U.S., but it's the poorest boys and girls club, like in the U.S. And so I would go and volunteer and help the kids there, and it's like a just very different experience because I had to learn. I didn't know so many kids are like in that area were in the system. I like put up for adoption and foster care and stuff. So it was a learning experience, but they get on that basketball court, man, they just let go of everything, all life's problems, and I don't know, I just could identify with that. So I like working out with them. We couldn't take no selfies because when the kids are in foster care and stuff like that, you can't post no pictures and nothing like that.
Question I want to ask you, Megan. We've never had this conversation after 20-some years. I have a niece that I think is probably battling her identity with homosexuality or lesbian. You have to help me with the correct terminology. Tell me, how did you deal with it? When were you comfortable with it? And how should we as parents help the girls and our nieces that's going through it? Because we've never talked about that in 25 years.
Right, we haven't. Well, I mean, for me, I don't know. My family is just, I don't know, probably because we from New York, we see everything. These people riding down the street with bras on and roller skates, and my family just wasn't judgmental. But that's not the narrative for everyone. I came out to my mom. I was probably 22 years old, and because college, I had a boyfriend all through college or whatever, and I was just like, Dad, like I don't know. And the thing about it was my boyfriend from college is one of my good friends. And I told him, and he's just like, well, you have to live your truth. So I called my mom and I told her, I was like, Mom, I think that, I may be having some identity issues or whatever. And I explained it to her. And she said, okay, just don't tell a lot of people, just in case you change your mind. But I love you. You're my child. And I'm here for you. And I know in life, I know a lot of kids, get kicked out of homes. The parents put a whole different pressure on them when they don't understand it. They feel like failures. It can lead to depression, suicide, a bunch of things. I've met parents that have been on that journey before. I would say, number one, you gotta love your child. Just because your child necessarily doesn't believe in the religion you believe in or the sexual identity is different, what are you going to just throw them out and disregard them? Unfortunately, some people do. Love is love, man. Just talk to her, have that conversation. Because how old is your niece?
She's in high school. I don't want to say too
much.
So
right. But I'm just saying, she could go through 2 years and say, hey, sexuality is fluid. I did that. I know people. I've been there, done that. Oh no, I want to get married with kids. It's just about like love, supporting people. I mean, I'm constantly asked the question. I had a relative in my family, a guy, and it was just very hard because that's a whole different stigma. You guys are all black men, and for my guy friends, especially my athlete friends, they always be like, Meek, you're not really gay, but but you're cool. It's more accepting for women to be in that life than it is for a guy, because they'll be like, man, what I'm saying? No, man, look, I'm cool, I'm comfortable with myself. But then it's like, man, don't be bringing no gay dudes around me. And I'm like, come on now. So you accept me, and I always have to tell them. So that I'm gay, but it's a whole psychological piece with y'all. And I'm not saying like y'all in general, because I don't know how you guys think about it, but I always say it's accepted with women because of you men. Because what do men think? Oh man, 2 women. Oh, sweat. That's what we'll say boys when they're young. It's this whole fantasy of that. So that's okay in a lot of ways, where another guy could be struggling and it's like, oh man, that gay stuff or whatever. So it's just really tough. That's why like so many of I learned in Atlanta. I had to learn this in Atlanta. So many black men struggle with identity because they can't have those conversations. They can't open up. They can't share with their friends because they risk being judged, losing friendships, and ostracized in a sense. So that's a tough one.
I want to dive. Hold on, Shell. I want to dive in that a little bit more before we go on. Shell, I know you got a question, but I think it's important. I know some. Go ahead, Matt.
No, no, no. I'm listening. Go ahead. Like my question, we can get to that. We talk basketball all day.
Yeah, I like that's the part of the show I really enjoy. Me is making a difference, and
Hmm.
this is one thing that I'm. Go ahead. Somebody said something. That's one thing that I'm dealing with
Yeah.
now is how to make an impact without some of these social issues we got going on, like with the protests. After the break, we'll get into the protests. But I think
Hmm.
homosexuality and the stigma with black men has to be addressed. If me, Shell, and Tony went somewhere and we had a gay dude with us, we would be considered either gay because we with him, or they would question our masculinity. Well, I don't understand it. Y'all can chime in and tell me what you all think. I've always been comfortable with who I am, so it never really bothered me. So, but y'all
Hmm.
chime in and tell me what y'all think about it.
Yeah, I want to
Uh,
know.
yeah, I don't have a problem with it. My wife, she has a brother who's on that side or whatever, and I'm very comfortable, hanging out with them. And I kind of started off early, like in college. We went to her hometown during Christmas break. I was a little nervous at first, but we went out to a bar. It was a gay bar or whatever. But I felt comfortable. Like
Hmm.
everyone was gentle, polite, or whatever. Like it wasn't anything that everyone's stereotype was. Like so I didn't have no problem with it. And I think me having that experience opened my eye up to like this is this people this are people that's just who people are. Like that's our brother, that's someone's son, and someone's cousin. They're gonna
Hmm.
love them the same way like I love them. I can't judge them on what they want to do. They have different beliefs. They might believe in something I do. I have no problem with that. I think
Hmm.
that a lot of times is men think that when someone's like that, they think the sexiest guy alive. And it's not the case. It's like they're not even worried
Right.
about you. They just enjoying their life and
That's
doing
it.
whatever. But I think a
That's
lot of
it.
dudes think they just looking at him. Now that's not the
It
case.
ain't nobody looking at Tony.
Also, no, ain't nobody looking at Tony. But I also had a stepbrother that I grew up with. Was on the same thing. Like we lived in the same room, share the same bedroom a lot of times. And like my problem was the whole thing was like just come out and tell me. Like I'm gonna love you, respect you no matter what.
Yeah.
It's just like tell me,
Hmm.
don't hide it from me. And that was a frustrating part for me because like
Hmm.
if you just tell me, I can love and accept it more. Like it's gonna be a better thing. I think this is what we're learning with the Black Lives Matter. It's just like you up and honest in front. Like it's people's more accepting to it this time and age.
Right. You're right. I
I
remember
think for
one
me is
time
more.
I was. Oh, go ahead, Tom.
Go
I'm
ahead, Shanique.
sorry. Oh, I
Uh,
just remember one time, right? I was headed to I was playing in LA, and one of my boys was playing on the men's team there. So I was going out. I was like, hey man, he's like, I have my driver. You guys want to do something? I'm like, I have my friends in town. I was like, I'm going to this gay club, and I was like, man, just come. And his boys, man, it's like 10 dudes in the house. Hell nah, man. I ain't going to no gay club. And I was like, it's girls, it's not guys, right? I was like, it's girls. And then they were like, man, I'm serious. I don't want no guys. So the leader of the group, the player will say, was like, yo, I'll go. I don't care. I'm comfortable with myself. Had the best time of his life. The guys is up in there because he's a leader, so they gonna follow now. The guys are up in there with the chicks and stuff. And I said, all right, it's a large percent of women that are bisexual or whatever. And man, they were like, when we going back? It was just crazy. So it's like people fear the unknown. If they don't know, they don't know.
well, we know Luther Vandross right there probably shouldn't have any problem, but as as I get into not being a homophobic, I think the most important thing for
Mm-hmm.
me was having a nephew that grew up and just watching him and kind of seeing how he dealt with people. You really don't think about it as much because, like I said, if you're a strong man and you know who you are. To me, everybody have their own
Mm-hmm.
personality, their own characteristics, but it really starts in the household, like what the parents are teaching their
Mm-hmm.
kids, and you got to accept people for who they are. I don't want to, because we know so many people have been bullied and are great people, and sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you find yourself trying to befriend people because of what your peers think about them. But if it's a good person, you got to realize that what, judge me for who I am and what I do, not for my
Mm-hmm.
gender, and look at me and say, well, these are the things that I have done or I will do later down the road. You become more, as you get older, like I said, you really accept people for just being good people at the end of the day, because you don't want to just
Mm-hmm.
go and have a bunch of bad people hang out with you. It's that your circle becomes smaller as you get older, and you really invite people who are in that can help your circle grow.
All right.
Oh man, he sound real Obama-ish. That's so awesome. You have a nice voice. It's very deep, you know.
Yeah, you said real old or Obama? Which one or both?
Obama-ish.
Oh.
Hey, relax, CeeLo Green. Relax, man.
He don't never pick a side. He just say what's properly right. Go and tell him how you.
That's all it is. That's what they do. Oh, politician. Hey, Meek, we gonna go to break, and you looking good on time. You having fun?
Yeah, I'm cool. She's still talking to her family, so I'm fine.
We're gonna take a break. We're gonna talk a little bit about the social issues affecting America. And take a break. TC.
Hey guys, looks like we're on point for fourth quarter. Good word. Lunches don't mean where you guys want to go. Hemingway's on Marietta Square.
Hemingway's and Marietta Square invites you to enjoy a great atmosphere and good time at lunch, just as you would during Hemingway's nights. Our express lunch has menu items under $10. Join us for trivia night on Wednesdays, or hang out on our patio with live music on the weekends. It's Hemingway's on Marietta Square.
I'm Mel Clemens. A lot of people ask me what made me get into the insurance business. I tell them, number one, the Allstate brand has been around 50 plus years, helping customers throughout the entire country protect their home, their lives, their families, and even their automobiles. The number one way we stand out from other agencies is we're here 24 hours a day between online customer service, 24 hours a day phone support, and my wonderful staff has been trained over 20 plus years to make sure we find you the deepest discounts to keep customers happy. We also have a new discount called the Home, Auto, and Life, because Allstate protects life insurance also. We want to make sure your kids, your grandfather, your grandkids are taken care of. Anytime you need the Mel Clemens Agency, you can go online or call us. We've been able to help thousands of customers throughout the Southeast, from Georgia to South Carolina to Tennessee. In good times and bad times, the Mel Clemens Agency is always around. Consulting is a company that helps people buy and sell insurance agencies. When people want to change careers and get into a new industry, they call me to find an insurance agency to buy. When people want to retire and get out of the insurance agency, they call me to help them liquidate their asset or sell. Some people will call me a broker. I'm more of an intermediary. I'm kind of like between a buyer and a seller. I make it fair for both parties. The primary reason somebody would leverage Sam Consulting is because we create millionaires. We help people retire from the business and retire wealthy, or we help people get into the business and grow to be wealthy.
The reason I use Sam Consulting is the reputation, professionalism, the expertise, and the amazing job of doing the due diligence is what convinced me to work with Sam Consulting.
Owning an insurance agency is one of the biggest kept secrets. It's generational cash flow coming in every month. This is what I do. I create millionaires by walking them through the process, step by step, on how to own their own business. The best way to reach me is go to samconsulting.com, or you can simply call the office, 678-223-7397.
Kid old enough for money but too young to deal with a checking account? Oh, and you don't really want to deal with cash? You need the Cube Kid Card. Reload right from your bank account, set parameters, and spend just like a normal debit card. If the card is lost, no problem. Without the app, the balance is zero. Get yours at cubemoney.io.
Young and that's
You lied to me. Nobody said it
No,
was
I promise. I promise.
you and Tony.
No, I promise.
Y'all talked about it at the break, and y'all playing was embarrassing. I'm gone. All right, Shell, go ahead with your question, man. You said you had a basketball question, Shell.
Yeah, you want to get into basketball, or you want to keep it with the social stuff?
We'll get into basketball and we'll touch off this social before we get out of here.
Yeah. So we can finish with we can do some more social stuff. So no, you've been part of a professional team throughout your career, and I'm pretty sure you have had teammates that was racist, had beliefs in you. Like, how do you feel about the Drew Brees comments?
It angered me just because when I look at the NFL, it's predominantly African American. He is an amazing player. I watched him compete over his career. Knowing that he's, those guys love him. I have friends that play with him. They support. They man, a great teammate. But for him, as intelligent, as good as a quarterback he is, for him to just throw those comments out there without thinking how they could impact his teammates, I just thought it was kind of reckless. And then secondly, I thought, man, he needs to retire because they're about to let him get hit. That's what I thought. Because, you're upset that these guys, I'm serious, these guys protect you. Look at the guy. That happened to, RG3. None of the guys on the Redskins liked him. He was an asshole. So they was just like, man, forget it. Like, I'm not going to protect him. And you see where his career is now. But I don't know. He thought about it. He sat with it. And I like Whoopi Goldberg's comment. She talked about her family member, serving in the military, and family member who fought for this country and didn't have a right to vote. Somebody that's history is sort of like erased, like you were there, but you really meant nothing. You weren't even considered a whole person. And so I think when she said that, it really like resonated with me. Like, hey, we all have to be a little more conscious of what is happening right now. As far as our elected president, is this a bad place right now? I know you guys as Black men probably really feel it, but to have such, tragedies happen in our leader, we have to have a good leader. Always, when you have that success, you have a good leader. It's not bringing us together, and that's the thing that's really tough to see. And I feel like I'm losing friends. Every other day. But I won't even say friends. I would say, just people that, I thought had understanding. Mel, I had someone tell me, because I was just like, of course, all lives, y'all. I don't know how y'all feel about that. All lives are important, but we're talking Black lives. We're talking about Black lives because Black men, Black women are killed on television. That thing with Floyd, I cried every day. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. I cried. Me and my wife are just like, we can't watch it anymore. It comes on to your face because nobody should have to die like that. No one. In the street, there's like that calling for your mama. It's disgusting behavior. And to see the rhetoric of the things that people say, saying, oh man, look at his history. Oh man, look at he did this. It's garbage. It's just trash. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a heart. And to have people, we all were celebrated. We all are celebrated, right? To know people that celebrate you, people you done broke bread with, for them to say, I just don't get it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to say anything. Silence is compliance, right? Like, let's get to it. Like, it's just, oh man, it's just frustrating. I got a brother. I have a son now. And so I was supposed to go protest today here in New York. But actually, we have protests pretty much every day. I stayed up too late yesterday. But my wife is like, oh man, you could finally go. She wasn't going to let me go before because of coronavirus and the protesting. And I protest. I've done marches before for Black Lives Matter here in New York, the LGBTQ plus community. So I'm ready. I'm ready to get out there because I'm marching for myself. I'm not marching for myself. I'm marching for my son's future. And I'm also, my mindset, she said, all right, what if something happens? I said, you know what? If change is going to come, if God said to me today, he set me down and he said, you know what? I sacrifice you for your life, your son's life with no racism. He'll be on an equal playing field, be able to move forward. Take me tomorrow. I'm I'm good. Like, take me. Like, just to see that it's better that change, because my college roommate's dad is 84 years old, and he's here, Harlem Night, was an educator, and she was driving him through the protest, Saturday's big protest. He said, "Oh my God, I never thought I would see this uprising." Remember the lady, y'all, 98 years old, that shook Obama's hand? She started crying. Y'all remember that?
Right.
The
Yes, I
older
do.
woman. And said, "I never thought I would see a black president in my lifetime." Like, I want to be that person. I hope it happens sooner, but I want to be that person that just, this big shift happens, and equality and fairness, comes to the forefront. I want to see that. I want to feel that way that she felt.
Amen.
And my question is, I think, with this social justice, that we're trying to achieve here, and even going back to Colin Kaepernick, I really, and they'll notice, I'm so deep, I go back hundreds of years, but, this is a different kind of protest. And I think what makes this, I know maybe you're probably talking about 100 years, yeah. Don't make me get on you about being that's a whole other story. But I think this protest is so different because it took place during the pandemic. So globally,
Yes.
everyone got a chance to witness this. So this is something different. And I have to commend this generation for going out, and not only the black culture, but so many other minorities. And we see so many other white people out protesting with us. So that makes it such a different protest. But my question to all three of you is, do you think there is a good racist?
A good racist.
Me, we was in Tennessee for years. Come
Oh,
on.
yeah.
I know we gotta be politically correct. Me and Meek was in East Tennessee.
Man, I got y'all beat. I was invited to a redneck Olympics up in the Appalachian mountains. I had a classmate. I told this story, and me and her are cool, but she invited me. Her family loved me. They were like, "Oh." And then before we get there, like, we about to pull up, and she goes, "They love you now, but my grandfather really don't like. He old school. He really don't mess with black people like that, but he like you." I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, I'm up in these, I'm up in these back roads, because for me, y'all, the first time someone asked me, actually yesterday, someone asked me the first time I was called the N-word, right? And I had to think. And me and Zakia looked at each other. The first time I was called the N-word, y'all, was when I was in college. It was like my sophomore year.
For you.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I talked to my guys, and they like, "Man, look, you late, man. Whatever." It's a totally different narrative, but Zakia, the same thing for her. We got to college, and when I remember when the gentleman said it, it's like I paused. And then I was like, hell no, put my head down. I ain't going to say anything. Let me just get out of this situation, because I'm outnumbered,
Hey, Mel has the next question. Mel has the next question, but a quick story. When I was 16 and the first time I got called an N-word, I was in Knoxville. So long story short, when I was being recruited by Wade Houston, I knew then that I wasn't going to the University of Tennessee just because of the incident when I was 16.
So where are you from, Tony?
Brownsville, Tennessee, close to Memphis, about 30 minutes from Memphis.
Jihan,
West Tennessee.
You remember Tyrone, right?
Jihan, Al Wilson.
Oh yeah, okay. All right.
I got.
Shell, you had a question?
So I got a question. So for our show, we've been having men on the show a lot, and also with the with the Black Lives Matter movement or whatever. It's always men dealing with issues. So I really wanted to get a woman on, especially someone being black. Have you ever had to deal with the police the same situation as like black African American males deal with it, or is your situation have never existed or different?
My situation is because, like, I run a lot, right? And so from behind, if I'm have my hoodie on, and that's the thing I had to stop doing. I run with my hoodie on, and I'm 6'2", I'm jogging. So I've been approached in the Smyrna area, Cobb County, of course, and when y'all just had that ad over there by that little restaurant, I've been over there before, and that was like scary. And then I would get pulled over all the time. Or Atlanta Road, go into my house late at night. I'll be coming down. I'm not drinking. I'm not anything. And I'm just like, hey, it became a routine thing. Oh, then it's like, oh, Miss Host Club. Oh, you have a good night. Oh, you live. Oh, have a good night. When they're pulling me over because they're like, all right, driving while African American. So those are the situations I've had, and I just make sure, now I run a lot, and so my wife is like, all right, if you're in the neighborhood or something like that, just make sure you take your hoodie off. But then I'm like, well, I'm still, African American, and I got locks. I'm like, we'll see. Sometimes you just go with the flow. But I find myself, when I'm running and I see, older women, who are not of color, white women, I'm always like, hey, like you see me, hi, But yeah, I really felt that when I was in Cobb County. I was like, nice area and everything, but this makes me feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's a shame, man. I try to overlook and not acknowledge of some of the racism and discrimination and the prejudice that we still deal with. Because I always think, especially being a capitalist and an entrepreneur, I assume the only color that should matter is green when we're doing business, but I've dealt with so many situations. Like Tony can tell you, East Tennessee, I've never shared the story Tony just told about Knoxville. You got to realize we lost one of the greatest basketball players in the history of Tennessee because of some dumb rednecks. I grew up in East Tennessee. Most of my best friends that I grew up with were rednecks. Some racist, because to answer your question, some racist, some rednecks. And like Meek can say, and you all are a perfect example, I was just lucky because of my personality. But they would consider us different, like Meek said. Her granddaddy would consider Shamik was different. We wasn't different. They just wanted something from us or something they admired about us. We weren't no different than George Floyd or anybody else. It's a shame that we still have to justify that Shamik will have a conversation with somebody who thinks for any reason whatsoever you should be stomped on your throat for 9 minutes. I don't care. I put a video up the other day on Facebook if anybody sees it. And I knew we would get different responses. We saw a young black man get choked. They said they want to see the full video. I don't know what justifies a police officer choking somebody. I don't know what crime you can commit to get choked. I don't know what crime you can commit to get tased. Now you can get subdued. You can be asked to sit down. You can be asked to take a break. But choking, they're supposed to be better. And some cops are, some cops are not. But we acknowledge, and it's not us. Our generation a little older, but Shelby's generation on down, they're not playing. They're not asking no questions. They shooting people on the street. They coming for you. So hopefully, like they said, right now we are just asking for equality. Nobody's asking for revenge, reparations, payback. They just say, quit choking us. And eventually some of these young kids are going to say, I'm not going to keep begging you not to choke me. We're going to reverse it. So hopefully the people in the social issues, the protests will make a difference. The LGBTQ community plus is standing with it. It's incredible to see what we're seeing. I mean, majority of the protests I see is 50 to 75% white people with us. So I'm excited about that. Oh man, I'm excited about that. It warms my heart to know that people. It is. I mean, I know in New York it is. Definitely. But
it goes back to when. Hold on. It goes back when Mel, Reverend Al Sharpton, it is, when he was back walking with Martin Luther King back in the Reverend Al Sharpton tell us about the 60s.
Oh man,
but I'm the real Mel, not the mess with Mel. But I think Shell has a question about basketball, and we'll finish up. Meek, we really do appreciate you being on the show and giving us more than 30 minutes. So we're gonna maybe finish up with some basketball questions, and Shell has a few here.
All right, one more though. We got to talk about women, black women at that, because we do know that black women right now, we are the most educated, right? But we still not getting paid our worth. You know what I'm saying? And then it has to become a time too. The number one thing they want to throw at us, and I'm seeing this on a lot of posts and stuff. It's like, black men, what they do with their women, they rape and they brutalize their women. We have to really have men, step up and show their support, of us black women, despite relationships and all that. You say we're queens, more men have to step forth and highlight us and show a little bit more support, because we know, y'all got mamas and things, and, family members, women that have supported y'all wives, and y'all know the power of a woman. You know what I'm saying? The love of a woman. If you take it back to the days, of slavery, that's why the slave owners will want to harm the men in front of the women, because they thought that they could really break us to raising submissive beings. Our love is empowering. Our love gives you guys strength. And so, I just really want you to think about it. And like you said, you got a little girl. I don't know about you, Tony, but I know Mel, only thing he makes his boys.
I got 3 of them.
Oh, okay. Is it 3 girls?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so man, it's just like you guys, your love, the love you show your
fight
daughters.
for women, me.
Like,
trust me, I fight
definitely.
hard for women. So just know that.
Thank you, definitely. That's what we
We
learned
got a
from our dads, man. Go ahead.
I got a positive and a negative question at the same time. So sticking with basketball and sticking with equality, your biggest promoter, the WNBA, who was one of your mentors, who you told me impacted you a lot. That was my question: is what do you think the WNBA needs to do to get some more money and get some upward mobility for you? And talk about your boy Kobe. The people, all this going on, we don't even get a chance to celebrate him like we should. We should be celebrating him all night. Let you tell me Kobe stories. I don't want to see you cry, but I know we.
Oh man, oh, goodness gracious. But first of all, with the W, I think now the women, of course, we're understanding the power in our voice, and we're learning to speak up. So I think for a long time, a lot of people don't know that the WNBA was sort of like under the NBA's umbrella to a large extent, using their marketing and things. And finally, it was separate. It's a separate entity now, and so it's more time, more resources geared towards supporting the women, and the women are speaking up. And you saw one step forward, collective bargaining agreement, increase the salaries, and we just got to keep growing the game, and making sure we're out in communities, marketing it. The thing I love about it, the seed of growth, is that the women understand their power, and they're going out in the communities, creating business and doing things, utilizing the platform. So that is really great. As far as Kobe, oh man, we're gonna talk about Kobe. Yeah. It's so sad, man. That's like my favorite player. I played in LA. His dad coached me, got to be around him a lot and know his sisters and stuff. So that's just a tough loss. He's a great guy. Just living. Y'all know how it is. When you're in your career, you're giving everything towards it. He was so focused. I'm sure you guys heard the stories. I can't see you guys. This sucks.
No, that was your time. You still there?
There you go. Yeah. So, I remember when I was out there, and the guys be like, "Man, Kobe don't hang out with us. He don't do anything." And they're like, "Man, we tried to invite him, and then he'll come, and he wants to go home early." But he knew, like his sister Shea was saying, he knew that he wanted to be the best. He was just wanted to be different. So I'm not gonna hang out with you guys. I'm gonna work. After the NBA season's over, right? We will practice 10 o'clock, y'all. We come in like right after y'all WNBA. 10 o'clock in the morning. The NBA season is just over 2 weeks ago. And the Lakers always was going like to the finals and stuff. So they was always playing long. 2 weeks after the season, 3 times a week, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Guess who's in the gym? Kobe. Running sprints, working out with his trainer, working on his low post moves. Like, I'm like looking like, who does this? And they were like, man, he's just built different. This is a different type of human being. Only other person that I've ever played around that had that type of work ethic was Gilbert Arenas. Because man, we would when Jordan wasn't on our team. He was our president maybe at that time, but Gilbert would come. We would have the key things. We could come to the gym anytime. So I would be in there 9 o'clock shooting around. Gilbert would bring his friends. This is how you know when you got the right people around you. Tracy and them be on the sideline, like the trainer be in there working out, like 11, 12 o'clock at night. I was like, man, this guy puts this work in, but not everybody's like that, because then you had other guys. You know how that is. I don't even talk about that, Skip. It's just different. Pro sports is so different from college. Who was the hardest worker you guys played with on your team? Like, it was just like. Shocker.
It was one. You was talking to me.
I'm talking to
Yeah,
Tony.
okay.
So.
Oh,
Oh my
I'll
God.
let TD. Yeah, I'll let TD go first. I got to think
You
about
know,
that.
you know
I've
what?
been blessed to
To
have
be
some
honest
great
with you,
people.
me, I was one of them dudes that lived in the gym because I didn't have any hobbies. You know, as much only hobby I really enjoyed was ping pong. Like I could play ping pong all day, but other than that, as soon as the season ended, I was back playing the next day. So whenever our season ended,
Okay.
I took off a day or two, and I was right back at it. Like basketball was definitely my first love. And even to this day, you know, as much as I'm around my AAU program and teams and seeing Shell come to
Mhm.
the gym, like that excites me. That ignites my day
Okay.
to see Mel come in with
Mhm.
his son. And because I mean, the game has done so much for me, opened up so many doors and given me so
Mhm.
many opportunities. As we touched on earlier, you know, we're not just entertainment. You know, we all are
Mhm.
educated black men and women, and we just want to be respected in this country more so than anything. But the work ethic is something that has always been instilled in us from
Mhm.
the day we were born. I think our parents
Mhm.
taught us that we have to work 10 times harder than the next culture. And we know what culture that is. So we've always
Mhm.
understood what hard work means to our culture.
Mhm.
And I hate when
Mhm.
people say we're lazy, we don't work hard. I'm saying that's
Oh,
not all of us.
it's not. It's not. How about you, Shell?
I would say, it took me a while to think about it. I say the hardest worker that I met would probably be Joe Johnson. I played with him in his later days out in
Oh,
Utah.
Joe. Yeah.
But the things he
Mhm.
did is so crazy. Even like right now, like I can see him. I can go to Buckhead, and I see him running right now with a sauna suit on, just trying to get it. Like it's just who he is or whatever. But that last year
Mhm.
playing in Utah, we used to wake up all the time on the road and go to yoga at 5:30 in the morning, 6 in the morning. Like I never knew anyone to do that. So like I see why he was able to get the contract he got and how he's one of the best
Mhm.
players in the league. Because beforehand, I never got to experience that and see that. But I took a little bit of
Mhm.
something from that. Like he worked hard. I'm not gonna lie. He worked hard. I'm not gonna say I work as hard as him, but I work hard. But
Yeah.
that man worked hard. So I can say that.
Yeah. I had a teammate, Muriel Page, that was like that. You're just like, man, like you're putting in the work, and it's just like, whew, like that's a different level. I'm gonna get there. They keep you motivated. But God bless you, man. You was in Utah. Oh boy, I thought I was gonna get drafted there. Whew. I was like, please don't get drafted there. Oh man, and I said that. I was like, when I got drafted, I said, oh, I'm just so thankful I'm not going to Utah. Those people booed me every time I went there. I was like, I
You
don't
said that on
care.
TV?
Yeah, yeah, rookie mistake.
Oh man.
Right after the draft, I'm like, and I was like, oh my god. I said I'm going to DC. I'm from New York. I was like, I was nervous. Thank God I didn't go to Utah. Oh my
Well,
I got
goodness. Did you play there,
I
Tony?
got I got
Did Tony play in
I got
Utah?
No, I wasn't in Utah, but I did a summer league out there. I actually enjoyed Utah.
Mm.
Utah was fun.
I thought you
Oh
played in
no,
the
Park.
ABA when you was with the ABA.
Nah, nah. You so. I like Park City. Park City is nice. It's a little more liberal. I like Park City.
yeah, Park City
It's
very
nice.
nice. I got a quick question for you. I've been
Mm.
so we everybody we have on, they always give their top five. Uh we had Dr. J on last week. He
Uh-huh.
got the worst top five that we have ever heard in life. I wouldn't say that. It was just like I don't know how to say it. It wasn't a top five that hopefully you don't
What
have
what
or
was
we
his
have.
top five? I want to know what his top five
Uh
was.
Mel, did you write it down?
Yeah, but I remember. So he had Oscar.
Hold on, no, man. We can't give it. I
Oh,
want to know
oh,
your
oh,
top
oh,
five
oh,
first,
right, right, right,
so
right,
we can
right.
compare.
All right.
Me. Hold on. I want your top five in the WNBA. That's what's important. Who's your top
I'm gonna
five
do
in the
both.
WNBA?
I'm gonna do both.
Okay.
All right. So,
All right.
all right.
Let me get it.
WNBA. All right. I gotta have a point guard. I'm talking about in their primes. Okay. Point guard. I'm going with Don Staley.
All right.
My two guard is gonna be probably my two guard. All right, let me skip. I'm gonna go Lisa Leslie at the 5. I'm
Okay.
gonna
Time
go
out. You lost
Lauren
me. You
Jackson.
lost me. Where's
What?
the? You went from point guard to center.
I'm
Who's the two
skipping. I
guard?
said
I
I'm gonna
couldn't hear
come
the two
back.
guard.
I said I'm gonna
Okay.
come back. I said come back.
All
I know
right.
who better
You
be
know
on
the
your list.
women.
Don't
Okay, so
give
look.
no hints. Let's see.
Come
So
on,
all right,
come
I
on,
got
Meek, finish it up now.
Lisa Leslie. Then I'm going with Lauren Jackson, Australian. At the 3 player, I mean, I gotta go with Cheryl Swoops. And then I'm just old school with it. I gotta go with Cynthia Cooper, man. Like I'm just saying, those man, what Cynthia Cooper was
What?
like amazing. Those are mine. And then
Hold on. No, Diana Taurasi?
Man, that's a Dr. J list. That's a
no,
Dr.
no,
J
no.
list,
You know
man.
what? You're right. You're right. You know what? Diana Taurasi. I did a show the other day. She's my favorite player. You
Okay.
said
All
team,
right.
man. You had a team. You
No,
can't
we
look.
did
I
top
don't
five.
listen. Look, it's
You can't,
women. Look,
you
it's
can't have
women. It's
Tamika, you
personalities.
cannot have a team without
Listen. All
Diana
right.
Taurasi.
Right. You're right. All right. Listen. Okay. All right. Listen. I'm going to
Who you taking
personality.
out?
All right. So.
Who you taking
All right. All
out? Who
right.
you taking out?
Who I'm taking
So
out? I'm taking out
we got a
Cheryl
new list.
Swoops.
Cheryl Swoops.
No,
Okay.
I'm taking
I'm
out
going with
you were
that.
right. Listen, I'm taking out Cheryl Swoops. You know what I'm saying? Taurasi, I agree. Everybody knows I'm like Taurasi's the player. You know what I'm
Nah,
saying? I mean, she's so
I,
cool.
I think you're hearing the question wrong. It's because our list has a lot of people at the same position. It could be this the best 5 players ever. They don't have to be center, power
Oh.
forward, none of that. Like, who's your top 5?
Oh, okay, my top 5. All right, we going Taurasi. We're going
All
Lisa
right.
Leslie. We're gonna go I'm gonna go with Candace Parker. I'm gonna go with defense runners. I'm gonna go with Catchings. And then
Okay.
Penachero.
All right,
Penachero is no
That,
position.
that's
Tisa?
a
That's
good
that's
top
my
five.
You got
Okay. We good with
that's
Tisa
that.
how
Pinachero in Sacramento? Okay, so no Cheryl Miller then.
nah. I watched a
Okay.
lot of her tapes when I went to college, but I really didn't get to experience her game like that.
Okay.
I was watching a couple of highlights. Now men's, I'm going with
Go in order.
Michael
In order.
Jordan,
In order.
LeBron.
In order. In order.
I gotta do positions with the men.
No
No,
position.
no, no, no,
Just
All
no,
top
no,
right,
five.
no, no.
all right. Michael Jordan,
Okay, all right.
Kobe Bryant,
Kobe.
LeBron James,
All right.
and I'm talking about let's see, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and I'm trying to think, man,
Is this
Shaquille
is
O'Neal,
this in
game
order?
changer.
Is
No,
is this
no,
in
no,
order?
no, no. Shaquille,
No, no,
Tim
no.
Duncan, yes, Tim Duncan's number 4.
All right.
All
Tim
right. So
What's
Duncan
some other 3
what?
though?
and, Sha-
Yeah, we ain't worried
and
about
Sha-
nobody. What's some other 3 at?
Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Tim Duncan, and Shaquille. Those are my 5.
Yeah. We got it. Duncan 4, Shaq is 5. I can live with that. What y'all think, TD? Can you
That's
live with
my
that?
That's a solid list. I like that. I can roll with that list.
All right, let me give you Dr. J. Dr. J had Maurice Cheeks. And what's the other dude? The big man. What's the big man's name, Tony? What's the big man's name?
Daryl Dawkins
Uh,
or Moses Malone.
yeah, Moses Malone, Maurice Cheeks, and what's the other dude that got in trouble from Texas? Nah, he listened to that.
Nah.
He had, Big O, Big Oscar.
Yeah, he
He
had Oscar
had
Robertson. He had Jerry West.
Jerry West. He had Bill
Elgin
Russell,
Baylor. Elgin
Will
Baylor.
Chamberlain, and Elgin Baylor.
And Elgin
And
Baylor.
I let him pass with Elgin, and I looked up. He worked for Elgin for 22 years at the Clippers. That's why he.
Oh, he did?
I didn't get a
I didn't
chance to
know
get on
that.
Julius about it. Yeah, 'cause I
Yeah,
said,
hey,
wait a
Yeah,
listen,
minute.
man.
No
That
it's
man paid
tough
his
Reeves.
dues.
because
Tony got on to him about not having Kareem. His response was Kareem and him are 1 year apart, so he can't get on his list. That's what Julius said.
I
Well,
mean,
you know what?
that's
And
inspiration.
also, I think, like I said, they were only 2 years apart, but also Kareem won 6 championships. So a lot of he couldn't get through. He couldn't get to Kareem, to Kareem. But I thought when you think about the greatest of all time, and I kind of tell Mel and Shell, I look at your collective body of work. So that's one of the reasons I put Kareem as my all-time greatest player in the history of basketball. Like, this list is just the only list I would say he dominated from high school, college to NBA with the most unstoppable shot that we've never seen since he threw that sky hook.
Yeah.
All right, I got
New
something.
York. Well, we got Julius and Dr. J. New York.
Hey, did you play the Salvation Army too? He talked about the
No. Wait.
Salvation Army.
Actually, we got Julius went. No, Julius went to. Yeah, he went to Roosevelt, right? Yeah, he went to Roosevelt.
He's New York. Did you
He
go to
went to
Salvation Army?
Roosevelt High School. Did I go where?
Salvation Army.
Salvation
Was
Army.
it big?
Yeah,
Was it big?
they used to have yeah, they had a team and stuff. Yeah. I played in the
Okay, that's
league,
how I met.
Salvation Army. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever
In
play in the Rucker
PEL.
Park?
No, I used to go to the games all the time, and then like after I left, that's when they started having the girls play. Shannon Bobbitt, shout out Tennessee. You know, she's a mixtape. She's like the all-time ball handling chick from the Rucker. She played at Tennessee. But yeah, man, the Rucker, that used to be my summer jam coming home from Tennessee, man. Used to be sitting there, and I didn't have to, you know, when you first started out, I had to be on the fence, you know, and then I got, better and stuff in New York, and so I had clout, so I got to be VIP now. So it was just crazy, man. Just the people that I got the opportunity to see there. Awesome. Did y'all ever play there?
I think
Yeah, a
Mel
couple
did.
times they
Personally,
invite. Oh, I thought it's talking to me again. My bad.
yeah. Mel, you played. That's the only official game you played in.
Oh no, it's all good.
Me,
You
me
know,
be
Mel, you
killing
got
me.
your lane. Stay in your lane, buddy. No,
I do. I do. We just give each other a hard time. I have no false expectation that basketball was my calling at all. So we have fun.
Yeah, man. Y'all know basketball is the most. I always tell people most disrespected sport, man. Everybody think they could hoop, man. Everyone. I mean, because you don't really need much. They be out there in the truck hooping and stuff. Everybody think they are a baller, man. Especially football players. Football players are the worst. They
Absolutely.
think that they are basketball superstars. Some of them could play, but at Tennessee, man, I don't know how many football players I played one-on-one, and I'm just like, oh my god, you're not that
Mig used to
good.
come.
Peerless Price, he could hoop.
He can hoop.
Yeah.
Jermaine can
I,
hoop. Remember,
Who's
Coach
that?
Copeland. You know,
Oh yeah,
Jermaine
he
can
used to hoop with us. He's from your
I
town,
got
Jermaine Copeland.
I got a serious question. So Mel, you was pretty good.
No. No. I mean, I
I was
can
gonna
play.
say I want to know who gonna win 1-on-1.
Me and me. I tried to play her one
Man,
time, and she told me that very
man,
story.
stop
No,
that,
I went.
man. Hey, still. Hey,
Man,
stop
that's
that.
like I'm not wasting my time. I'm
Hey,
wasting my damn
Shamika,
time.
that's almost
I
worse.
feel you.
That's almost
I didn't want
saying
Mel to admit that.
that's like Shell leaving Michael Jordan off his list of top 5. That's about as bad as that.
Right. Oh, he left Michael Jordan off his list?
Yeah.
I've never done that, TD. No, I never
He's
done
a
that,
hater.
TD.
He's such a hater. First show, he was like, Michael's not on my list. I'm like, dude, stop it. But anyway, but hold on.
Me.
But Shamika,
I had a
I have a
third.
question. You shouldn't be third either. Tell us about the special season you had at Tennessee when y'all went undefeated. Can you elaborate on that?
Oh my God, it was like the most amazing thing. Everywhere we went, it was pretty much sold out. And you played at a big program, so they could get 10,000. Lady Vols were coming. The place was going to be sold out and packed. We just got a lot of exposure for the women's game. I mean, Coach Summers on in Gentleman's GQ magazine. We getting all this publicity. Did a documentary with HBO. It was just such a high. You saw this shift, this whole girl power movement and movement of opportunities for young women. And I just was like, really just when you're in it, you just don't realize the magnitude. But when I left Tennessee and you just look back and you actually retire from the game, and that's when everything hits you, and you're like, oh my God, like I was a part of this movement, this team that really created a shift for women's college athletics. It was really dope, undefeated, man. And the thing about it, it's like I look back and I'm like, our team wasn't like, I don't even know. I don't think we were like. No, we were different. I don't want to say. Even LeBron said we were different. They tried to play us. Did y'all see that? They tried to say. A couple of weeks ago, man. They tried to say, "Oh, South Carolina's team versus with Lady Broad." LeBron was like, "Man, are you serious?" He was like, "A whole squad of the Lady Vols." He's like, "Man, y'all better come with UConn or something like that." But he was like, "Come on, don't even try to play." We created it. Come on, y'all. Knoxville, Tennessee, right? What year is this? 98. You got Shamika, Tamika, Samika. That's Black Girl Magic, just off that. We the three Meeks, man. Just oh my God, it's just crazy, man. People couldn't even say the name, couldn't get us right, but we won a championship. They'll be calling us the wrong names and stuff, but it was something special, and you just don't realize, how. Yes, you're playing a game of basketball, but you're teaching people other things also. Get this damn name right. Coach Summit was like, "Why can't people get her name right? My son, who is 7 years old, knows how to say her name. You guys listen. I'm a '70s baby.
Hey, well,
TD from '60s, so we good. Don't worry about that.
Hey, Shell, hey, don't make me start getting on you, man, because you're gonna be next.
get on the back.
Hey, he nobody get on Uncle Ruckus, man. Don't make me get on him.
Uncle Ruckus.
Mel, TD don't
Uncle
want
Ruckus.
since we pull them stats up about him losing to me in that 3-point contest. He left me alone.
Hey,
He didn't want none of that smoke, did he?
What?
Two things.
Listen, you should be embarrassed that you only won one spot. I don't even shoot the ball. I don't even play anymore. So for you to win one spot, and you celebrating winning one spot, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
No, I'm celebrating being top 3 in NCAA history when you're on the outside looking in at us.
But you know what? But I got it. But hold on, Mika. Hey, but I got a chip though.
Yeah.
I know. You was the 7th best player on your team.
Hey, Mel. First team All American.
Yeah. I can't.
I remember those days.
As the young people say, say less.
Yes.
Hey, Mel, everybody remember that when you got a payroll in college, that's easy to do. We ain't had no payroll.
Yeah.
Hey, on that note, thank y'all for coming.
Yeah.
Let's clean it up, Big AB. We ain't talking about none of that, man. We ain't talking about none of
that. Let's not even get into that, man. It might put one of our universities on violation.
Yeah, you're right.
Who was the coach though? Who was the coach when you was there, Tony? I'm just trying to think.
Coach Pitino.
Coach Pitino. Okay, he's here now. He's here in New York, right? Iona, right?
He's in New York, yes. Yes, he is.
Yeah. Okay, my friend coach is there, man. She was like, "Oh, there goes my freedom," because he's coming. So it is everything else. Fuck everything else now.
They're gonna be on probation in 3 years.
Oh, he
did.
Yeah.
What's wrong with this guy? Let's clean it up.
Hey, Morose's ass next week.
Yeah, get on next week, man.
Are you guys gonna have? Are y'all gonna have DA on here? That's like one of my favorite people.
That's Monday.
Derek Anderson.
We're gonna make that happen then next week. We'll make that happen.
Yeah, he's a good brother. I gotta check on him. He's really a great person. I like him.
Yeah, we're gonna. That's gonna be our special guest for next week. So I'll get in contact with him.
Hey, Tony, don't kick Shell out the gym, man. He cut you a little deep today, man. So Shell a little deep. Hey, me, I'm gonna call you tomorrow.
Man, you know what? Hey, I've axing on Shell, man. But you know what? Shell, hey, your ass is next, man. Looking like Ruben Studd over there. But I'll check you next week.
Oh man. Y'all definitely comedians, man.
Before we wrap up, Meek, I have a question for all three of y'all because like I told you, I'm fighting this myself. what do you think our role is, especially athletes, what our responsibility is? How militant can we be? How vocal should we be? How much change should we push it for? Because all y'all have big voices. My voice is in the business world is a little different, and I still have a place. And I want everybody to answer the question one by one. Tony, you start first. What do you think your responsibility is, or athlete's responsibility in this social change that we're going through?
I think it's going to be our voice, and with me sharing, what has happened with the youth and getting those kids familiar with how important it is to be vocal and not to be silent, as Shamika said earlier, because silent means you think being silent is not helping out, but we all need voice and we need our allies to be with us in this fight right now, because George Floyd losing his life has brought a lot of us together. But can this continue for the next week, the next month, the next year, the next decade? We want to see continuous change, and not just change because of what happened. We want this change to continue for the next couple of years, to really understand, okay, now people know how we feel. And I'm not going to say people know how we feel because they're not going to walk in our shoes. But we want to see change over a period of time to know that this is real.
Sure.
I would say is just learn and educate myself as best as possible. Me born in the 90s, I really haven't had to deal with too much stuff that I was a part of. 94 Rodney King, I was only 4 years old, so it wasn't something that I was kind of a part of. So me just trying to learn as much information that could help me along the process to educate someone else. Each day, y'all two, great mentors to me. Y'all send me information, different articles for me to read. I have other people do it. So I'm still trying to continue to gather my thoughts and information. So when I do speak out in public, I can say something correct and something I've done my own research on. That's the way I look at it as being a professional athlete.
We just have you can read.
Right. Oh man, y'all are crazy.
I went to Butler University, which is 10 times harder than UK. Does he understand that?
Y'all need a reality show or something. Y'all funny. But
Go ahead,
I don't know. I think they summed it up, educate, use your platform, your voice. And I always tell kids, we all have a journey, we all have an experience. So, don't be afraid to share, because your journey, your story can empower somebody else, but there's no more playing in the middle of the road. Like Coach Summit said, can't trust a person that is always in the middle. You either gonna go left or go right, but just, make a decision, and the thing about it, we're all different, and I know that, and we try to say, oh, I'm a part of this group or this group, but as much as we think we're different, we're the same, man. And the thing is, it's like fear of the unknown, it's the thing that keeps us so separated. So you know what? Open yourself up a little bit. I don't know if you guys played overseas, but I had to learn that really quick. Is just being open to others, open to other cultures, and educate. So just, pick up a book. It's something you want to learn about. Some people are closed-minded, but I read a lot. I'm actually reading this book. I read it 2 times, and I really highly recommend it. I heard of Powernomics? Dr. Claude Anderson, y'all. Check this out right here. And holla at me, the national plan to empower the Black America. And a friend of mine, Ed Butler, Tennessee, he told me to get this book 2016, and I read it this is my 3rd time going through it. And hit me up, seriously. When should I read it? Hit Mel up. It's got some good nuggets in here. You know what I'm saying? But
we know one person that can't read it, but that's okay. We'll come back. We'll teach him.
Y'all a knockout blow, TD. Hey, before
I don't know what TD talking about.
Y'all are crazy.
I'm gonna end it with this kind of serious note. I always ask myself, because I'm from a Tupac generation. My wife is trying to get me to be she said, man, you're a little too boisterous, you're a little too militant, but I'm from a Tupac generation. And I've always asked myself, in slavery, what would I have been doing? In Jim Crow, what would I have been doing? In the civil rights, what would I have been doing? Because I always figured, I would have had a role, I would have done this. But I said, you know what? I would be doing exactly what I'm doing now, and I hadn't done nothing. So all these people who wonder what we would have done in slavery, what we would have done to help the cause, If we ain't doing nothing now, that's what our ashes would have been doing in the 60s and the 1800s. So I'm right now trying to determine what I'm going to do to make a difference. And this is part of it, but I know I got to do more. So I never want to look back at this generation saying, hey, what did you do? If we didn't make a difference and do nothing, then it's our fault. That's all we got for tonight. Meek, I think we got a new guest host. Meek, I think we're gonna put you on the contract because hey, you fitting good with the fellas.
Yeah,
anything for you. You know, I got you. You know, Mel, man, you ain't make no hoopers either, right? You got 5 boys, right? And then make no hoopers.
You forgot about Chase?
My bad. That's the baby. I'm sorry. The second one. My fault. Listen,
she know my older boys. She know my older boys.
No, I know the other boys. Yes, my bad. You know, the little one. I follow him. I be sitting there liking the stuff and watching Mel. You know, he living vicariously. He be like, yeah, boy, this is what I wanted to do. Like, I wanted, but keep enjoying it. I'm happy, enjoy it. He's like a sweet little kid. I forgot about, oh my God, the 2 little ones. My bad. No, I'm sorry.
Jason K.
You know it's so long. Yes, I know. He's still playing soccer, the little guy.
Dude still doing soccer. Tony be trying to get him out there on the court and try to get him right, but he's still doing soccer.
Tony, a quick question. Quick question before we got to end this. You said I can't read because I only went to school for 3 years and you went to school for 4? What happened?
I'm about to show you something right now that you don't have it. I'm about to show you something you don't have at home.
I know you don't pull out.
Do you see that right
there? Hey, that's another knockout blow.
I'm going to school now. You're right, I don't have it. Because I left school in 3 years. My bad. I
Hey,
stayed 4
you
years.
left in 3 years? Hold on, you left in 3 years? What?
4 years.
Hey, why didn't you stay 4 years? Were you a first round draft pick?
Me? You see how they get a stab at each
other?
I had a top 5 class all time, man.
I'm just trying to find out.
Okay.
I
don't know.
I had to test the waters, TD.
We all can test the waters. I mean, what is that? Just testing waters.
I think you better leave. Hey, Shell, don't you think Shell need to quit while he ahead? He better get up on Tony.
Now we about to close it out. The only reason why I had to go because I wasn't getting paid in college. I had to go get a real job. You was getting paid in college. I couldn't do that. All right.
Hey, TC, as we close.
We closing, man. Meek. We enjoyed you on, and hopefully you can come on and host with us at some point in time.
Let me know. I got you guys. Y'all take care. And Shell, how old are you? How old are you?
I just turned 30 about a month ago. 2 months ago. April 22nd, I turned 30.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you got good 5-7 more years in you. So good luck.
Yeah, I hope so or whatever, and I appreciate it. But thanks for joining our show. You know,
all right.
I would love for you to, at some time in your career and your time work with my daughter. We're not gonna take pictures or nothing, but spread that knowledge and wisdom. Spread that knowledge and wisdom that you have learned over time. But thank you.
All right. Y'all stay blessed, stay safe. Bye-bye.
All right.
No doubt.
Are you suffering from fear and anxiety? The Allen Counseling Clinic is here to help. Our goal is to help you grow from your struggles, heal from your pain, overcome your fears, and get the relief from your anxiety. Call now. Area code 424-295-6227. Telehealth is now available.